Hi guys, I'm back. So it's been a minute, like a heavy minute since I came up here and spoke a lot about the moon. We did have a full moon in Virgo today at 10:53 a.m. During the Eastern Standard Time. I tell you guys all the time, Skylar finds a way to get in my hands. Anyway. But I'm so excited to be up here because I'm excited to talk to you guys about the moon today and how it definitely affected everybody. I definitely talked to a few Virgos. I definitely talked to a few Leos, and a lot of us could feel that moon, especially since it was right pretty much on the cusp. It was at 42 degrees. So that's like literally going like right, we're cutting right into Pisces season. It is the first day of Pisces season yesterday. So go Pisces. Love Pisces, love Pisces, love Pisces. And because the sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Virgo. And that's pretty much what a full moon is. So for those of you that have never watched my video before, a full moon basically is when the sun and the moon are at direct coordinates looking at each other. And ultimately what it is that the sun, we're so used to living with that natural masculine energy. A lot of us don't even realize it. You know, when we walk around and say, hey, what's your birth sign? We're talking about our sun sign, which is actually the more masculine side of ourselves. And basically what that means is that because we're always talking about that aspect, we never really take into consideration the moon sign a lot of times, and really ultimately what our moon sign is and what the moon stands for in our birth chart is our mind and who we are really at night. So it stands for that side of ourselves that people don't get to see on a regular basis, or those that we feel we need to be a little bit more protective over ourselves. Those are the people that follow more the sun sign, okay? My dog is that animal now. Skylar. Every time. It never fails. If you watch my videos, you know my dog finds a way to get here. I moved into a whole new apartment with so much more room. My dog still finds a way to make noise for my video to say to everybody he's here. Anyway, so I definitely am still going to make a video that talks about the two eclipses that just happened. Those are major eclipses. I was affected personally in my life where everything was crazy haywire schedule. I literally could not hold on at all. So it was very, very, very tough for me. And I made it work, but it was extremely tough. And because of that, it was very hard for me to get up here and talk to you guys about the moon. So I truly apologize. But keep up keep checking my page because it'll be a part of my Catching Up with the Stars series, okay? So let's talk a lot about this moon. And if you hear like random gurrs in the background, I promise you we're not kinky in this household. For some reason, my dog is just a little weird. He's in the corner playing with his dolls. So anyway, the moon was in Virgo and the sun was in Pisces, right? We entered Pisces season. So basically, let's talk about what that stands for. What exactly Pisces means in our lives and what Virgo means in our lives. So that way we can understand what we might possibly be going through right now. So when we talk about shining light, right, on the moon, which is what I was getting into before previously, shining light on the moon is what opens that side of ourselves that people don't typically get to see. So when it's at its brightest and most illuminating stage, because the sun is shining full light on it, that is when the crazies come out. And the reason why the crazies come out is because that is when our emotions are wide open and it's hard for us to hide it. Now, being that on this side of the world at 10:53 a.m., we're now all probably coming into work or have been to work for at least an hour already. So you probably felt a little bit of some, letting go feelings. A lot of people were releasing things or kind of like they might have been taking things out on you or whatever the case may be. And ultimately, the themes really center around the idea of psychology within self and the idea of who we are as far as our physical self. So what that really typically means is that 12th house, which is originally, or is ruled by Pisces, right? Traditionally ruled by Pisces. It stands for the side of ourselves that goes way beyond the veil. Okay, so we're talking about the way beyond. It stands for Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces. So Neptune is one of those further out planets that are considered to be in the same space and mindset of Uranus and Pluto. So that's going way past conscious is now entering into the subconscious. So what tends to happen is that it really targets areas in our life that we necessarily are not used to bringing up. But it also asks the question, are you spiritually healthy? Because at the end of the day, if you're not spiritually healthy, it can affect your physical health. And that's basically what Virgo stands for. Virgo is the ruler of the 6th house traditionally. This is not speaking on everyone's individual houses in their natal charts, but this is speaking on traditional terms. And Virgo rules the 6th house, right? It's the lord of the 6th house. So therefore, that talks about the ability to understand and grasp that idea that what you feel on the inside is actually being projected on the outside. It's our physical health. It is the way that we take care of ourselves, like if we go to the doctor, or even the concept of having our pets care, right? It's our obstacles, our daily obstacles, what we do every day, what we come into contact with every day. To give you an example, someone that might have moon in the 6th house would be somebody that fluctuates during the day, has a lot of things going on. This could also be Cancer in the 6th house as well, because the moon rules Cancer. So it's that concept of like, if you have that fluctuating energy in the 6th house, then you have a lot of obstacles to go through on the regular basis. Like, it's just constantly flowing up and down all day long. And you typically deal with people that have emotional issues, within some place of work, because 6th house is big when it comes to that triangle that shows you what you should be doing for your job. You have, let's say, 2nd house is a value, and then, or how you create value, how you bring value into your life, into your family's home, etc. That is the value. You have 6th house that talks about what you do on a day-to-day basis, and then you have 10th house that talks about your public persona. So altogether, that triangle will show you exactly what's best for your career. So if we're just taking that idea of the 6th house and kind of putting those other houses to the side, basically with 6th house, it talks about what you do from a day-to-day, what you face, the things that you have to solve. If you have certain planets in there, it's the certain personality that that planet represents is going to be a theme that you go through on a day-to-day basis, okay? For somebody, let's say, that has Scorpio in the 6th house, means that on a day-to-day basis, they really get into diving into the depths of psychology from other people, or tapping into the occult sciences within the world, things that go on the deeper level. So that's just to give you an idea of why it's so important to understand the 6th house as a day-to-day basis, because it talks about exactly, it's like a diary of what we're going through at the time, right? But 6th house also talks about the medicinal ideas. It talks about our physical health, but all stemming from what we feel from our mental health. And mental health is that 12th house. So basically what this moon is kind of doing is it's kind of taking the themes, or it's all the way taking the themes of what Pisces and what Virgo stand for, and it's finding that even balance between the two of them. It's understanding that you have to take care of your mental health in order for you to be physically healthy. You can eat all the coconut oil and freaking the kale and drinking all this distilled water or whatever that's going on, oxidized, I don't know, the stuff that I've been seeing at these markets out here in Philly. All these, you could do all these things, but if you're not mentally okay, if you're not going to a counselor, if you're going through something, or you're sitting down with somebody and kind of talking out what you're feeling inside, if you feel like everything is kind of rushing to your brain and it's clogging, and it feels like it's suffocating everything that you're doing, it's just, that's not going to balance out. It doesn't matter how much healthy stuff that you take in, it's not going to balance out if your emotions are messed up. And it's vice versa. It's the same thing, You could be spiritually healthy, but obviously if you're taking in, all this negative food, it's going to be really hard to keep up with that attitude, because it's not feeding you any nutrition. At the end of the day, energy, what we eat, is very important. It's your body. It is your temple. So if you keep throwing in all this fast food, processed food, all this stuff that's just bad for you. And I'm not going into detail telling you like, oh, don't eat meat, don't eat that. I'm not going into that. What I'm saying is that if you constantly eat things where they're not at a solid medium, right? They're not in what's the word I'm looking for? Moderation, right? If you're not intaking energy in moderation, you're always going to be excessive or deficient, always. So you have to keep that into consideration when you're eating. You should be eating a lot of vegetables. You should be eating or I shouldn't say a lot of vegetables, an even amount of vegetables compared to if you're a meat eater, eat an even amount of meat. If you don't eat meat, then you have to substitute for something else. So you have to continuously put yourself in a situation where you're allowing yourself to be healthy, but on both sides, not just being physically healthy, not just being mentally healthy or telling yourself you can be mentally healthy, but being balanced between the two of them, okay? So that's what those two sides talk a lot about. But also they get into the ideas of secrets. There's a difference between secrets in 8th house compared to secrets that are in 12th house. Secrets in 12th house are a little bit more scary because those are secrets that even you may not allow yourself to truly pull out, right? 12th house is the last house of the entire birth chart, okay? And then it goes right back into 1st house, right? So what basically happens is that that's a new beginning. It's going back into the quarters of Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So 12th house, and this explains a lot, and a Pisces will tell you this all day. Pisces are some of the most intelligent, enchanting beings in the entire world. Like, it's ridiculous. They're like mermaids. They genuinely are. And the reason being is because they have this way of understanding emotion and feeling and stimulation of just like senses, you know, they understand it so fluently to the point where you have to tell a Pisces a fish doesn't know it's in water. And I say this because they'll be so emotional about something or so, you know, crazy about, oh my God, this is going on and I just want everything to work right, because their shadow self is a Virgo. So now they're taking all this worry and all this fear. I just want things to go right. I just want them to know. And they go back and forth with worry, or then they're sometimes they don't worry. Sometimes they're like, you know what? I'm just going to escape. And Pisces are known for escaping. They're known for saying, I'm going to pick up a video game. I'm going to paint this picture. I'm going to watch this film. I'm going to do whatever that's artistic in order for me to distract myself away from what's going on. Because secretly I understand that this is just a simulation and that I'm just going through this experience. But if I really wanted to escape, I can go to another dimension. And it sounds crazy, but if you have a Pisces friend or a Pisces moon friend, don't even waste your time, go ask them, and I promise you they will say it is true. And basically, ultimately, what that's saying when it comes to looking at the moon, that the sun is in Pisces, is it's basically saying, like, shine light on the sides of us, right, that don't feel perfected in this area, because that's Virgo, right? So the sun of Pisces, of spirituality, of sensitive, or I should say sensitivity, or of even like no boundaries. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times like I've had to tell a Pisces friend, like, you need to get some boundaries. Like, you just keep, people just keep using you, and you keep like forgiving them and this and that, and you keep coming back. Like, boundaries is a very big issue when it comes to Pisces. And the thing about it though is that it's the same thing for Virgo. Virgo is the same way. It's on the opposite end. Like, I'm a Virgo, and I can't tell you how many times like people will do something to me and I'll keep, okay, I'm gonna forgive them. I'm gonna watch them, but I'll forgive them. I'm gonna watch them, but I'll forgive them. And then you get to a point as a Virgo when somebody starts messing with you too much, and then we finally close that door is not opening anymore because you've shitted on us so much. It's just like, at this point, you've literally done all the sides of the wheel for me to prove that there's nothing left in there that I need, and you no longer serve me. And that's the end of that, right? It's on both sides. However, this is the thing. It's about balancing from within, boundaries, perfection. Boundaries, perfection, right? When I say boundaries and perfection, and some people could say, how do those two things correlate? Think of it this way, right? When you don't have boundaries, right, you're not necessarily thinking about having everything in a pretty picture, right? Because you don't have any boundaries. Things might be all over the place, right? So that's the reason why I say to you, you have to have that understanding of how to set boundaries, but then also to let loose sometimes, but also to know that you have to zip it up a little bit when things get a little bit sloppy, right? So it's that even balance. And that's the reason why it is the funniest thing when you see a Virgo and a Pisces get together. Because the Virgo will be the one to sit there and say, we need this in order, we need this like this, we need that like this. And the Pisces is like, we got all day. We got to get the stuff done, but you need to relax. It'll get done. Like a true Pisces. I'm not talking about a Pisces sun with like a Virgo moon. No, like a true Pisces moon, or someone who has a very strong Pisces or Neptune placement. Like that kind of situation. It's just, a lot of times they could be a little bit in space, and what it is ultimately they understand that we're all an illusion. They get it because Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune talks about that consciousness that's there, right? In that cup, which in this case, the cup would be our temples, our bodies, right? So I say this a lot when I talk about like Saturn and Uranus and talking about Neptune, but it's a cup, right? The cup is built by Saturn or built by Capricorn, right? And then you have the consciousness that's in there, which is the liquid, the water. Technically, this is tea, but you know, you get what I mean. The water that's in there, that's Neptune, that's Pisces, right? And then the ultimate idea is to break this consciousness. And even though the water will come out, it's still in water form, right? Yeah, it might seep into something, but it's never, water doesn't just disappear. Like, you know what I mean? Nothing, no energy truly just disappears, but that's a whole nother conversation. But my point is that the water is still there. It just has changed form now, right? Now, if it's laying on the floor, it's in a different form versus it being like this. But ultimately, and that would have been the idea of the Uranus breaking the cup open to create a new form for the Neptune to then go into it as well. But, so much information. Ultimately, what it comes down to is it's understanding that not everything is an illusion, right? It's balancing the aspect of Pisces is dreaming, but Virgo is taking that concept, that dream, what you really want to do, and it's bringing it into the physical realm, right? I talk about this one card a lot, and I just said, you know what, I'm probably going to end up talking about it, so let me take it out of my case for my tarot. But this is a perfect example to talk about that concept, right, of manifestation. And that's basically what we're saying here with this Pisces Virgo energy, right? Because what it is you're taking as above to putting it so below. And as above always connects to the water signs, that water sign, right? That Pisces, that Cancer, and the Scorpio. It always talks about that crew, right? And it's the same thing of bringing onto the earth. You're talking about earth signs. So that's Virgo, that's Taurus, that's Capricorn. So putting this like idea together, magician, which is why I'm constantly calling you guys magicians. And I'm saying we're magicians at the end of the day. You have to remember this, is because it's the idea of taking as above, which is whether you believe in spirit, it's what's up above, you're bringing it as below in the sense of like you talking to your angels, you're telling them, this is what I'm requesting, this is what I want for myself. I would like to bring this into my life in physical form, right? You're manifesting it. So basically, that's one way to look at it. But then there's also, you know, there's other people that might see it on a different end or might want to look at it in a different way. And what that would necessarily be is as above, so below. In a sense of I'm thinking it, I'm producing it in my mind. I've received this idea from somewhere, whether I've seen it, whether it just popped in my head, right? That's how some people might view it. Me personally, I think it's a different way. But in the sense of like saying like something just popped in my head, and now I have the ability to go ahead and say, this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to achieve it, right? You're thinking about it, you're planning it up here, and then now you're producing it and you're bringing it into the physical realm. And that's really what this whole concept of the magician stands for, because he has the candle that's up here, bringing it from the spirit realm, bringing the idea, bringing creation, even the idea that it's one candle and the way he's holding it stands for that idea of one. If you could see on this side, this stands for infinite, but also if you flip it over, it's the number 8, which is the ability to manifest things financially. Finances don't have to necessarily be money. It could be value in general. So it's that concept, right? And then ultimately it's bringing it as below. Okay. That's that idea, bringing it as a below, bringing that concept and bringing it into physical manifestation, right? So it's understanding that things might, when we go back to the moon, things might be necessarily, I have a vision. This is the vision I have, and then how do I bring it to light, right? This is the energy that's going on right now. Now, some people might say, well, I don't really necessarily see how that applies in my life right now. And that's totally understandable. There are some people that it relates to more, especially if your personal planets are in that area of 0 degrees and 42 minutes of Virgo. And then it could also be all the mutable signs because it's in Virgo, and Pisces are both mutable. or also like where everything lies, or also the fact that you might take Mercury because Mercury is ruled by Virgo. So there's so many different ways that this can play out in someone's birth chart. But ultimately, at the end of the day, try to think of it in this way. If there's something going on in your life, and I have done readings lately that this is exactly what's going on in a lot of people's lives, especially creatives. They're like, I have this vision and I just genuinely want to go somewhere with it, but I'm not really sure how to make a move, right? I'm not really sure if I should take this way or that way. I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly. They start to get into that perfectionisty way, right? And especially with like right now, Venus is in Capricorn right now. So when you're creating something, which is all what Venus represents, and then you're putting in the eyes of Capricorn, right? Now you're going to be extremely like, I want to climb this. I got to figure this out. I'm trying to build, because that Capricorn energy is all about building, right? Capricorns don't want to deal with the details. They just want to build. Give me this. That's Virgo, right? Virgo goes ahead, gives the details. Capricorn builds, Taurus directs, right? That's how that works. Like they've already figured that out. So Capricorn's like, I don't have time to get into who everyone is. Tell me their positions, and then I'm ready to like build with that, right? That's what's important for them. So put the idea of expression in that area, and you're going to feel that intensity of being like, okay, I have this vision. I know that I need to do this and do that. Then I have to do this, right? And now we're also looking at the idea of the full moons in Virgo, right? So that's speaking. So your emotions are speaking in Virgo. So there's a lot of worrying here. There's a lot of concern. There's a lot of, okay, I have this idea, and intuition, right? Okay, I have this idea and intuitively I feel this way, right? Because Virgo connects with that intuition, you know, and then at the same time, Pisces, that ego is shining, right? So it's like, all right, but don't forget the dream. You're worrying about all this, but don't forget the dream, right? It's in that world of illusion. Don't forget the dream. Whispering over to Virgo, and Virgo's like, but wait, but I really feel worried because I'm trying to get this and this and that. And it's the organizing, right? Because then it kicks in with the organizing with Virgo. Virgo's very organized. And then now the idea is there. You have an idea, you have kind of like a feeling of what you want to do to get it. And now you want to build and build and build. Now, see, the positive thing about this moon, and this is what I love about it, is the fact of this. Mars is actually in Taurus. And because Mars is in Taurus, and I believe it's at like 3 degrees, and I forgot the minutes, it's it's conjuncting. I mean, I'm sorry, not conjuncting. It's sextiling with the moon, or with this whole situation going on right now. Technically the sun, because it's in Pisces. So it's sextiling with Pisces, and it's also trining with the moon, because now Taurus and Virgo are trine, right? That means that they're from the same element, which is Earth. And then it's sextiling the sun, because the sun is in Pisces, and it is now I'm going crazy, 60 degrees. Sorry guys, it's been a while. 60 degrees away from Taurus, right? So now those two are trining. And that's how that, it's sextiling. Oh my God, this day. Sextiling, right? So that means, and it sounds crazy, but anytime the planets have sex, it's a positive thing because they're merging. So think of it that way. Don't be nasty. They're merging together. And ultimately, it's a great energy to have because Mars stands for action. But then you also have to look at, all right, now we have Mars on our team, but how is Mars acting? How is this working with that Piscean energy? How is it working with that Virgo energy, right? It's because Mars in Taurus has this personality of, I'm going to be very patient. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to do the work that's needed. I'm going to constantly be where I need to be at the right time, right? It's that concept of being a hard worker, and especially if it's in Mars. Mars is our action. But it also talks about, I'm not going to let off the bull unless I have to. It's unnecessary. But once I let off the bull is very stubborn. So right now is a time that a lot of people in their places, especially because it's that sixth house, that everyday obstacle, they're very stubborn right now when it comes to defending for things that they really feel, right? If there's somebody treating them wrong, if there's somebody that's doing something that's completely not okay and against protocol or against what their belief systems are or their mission statement within that workplace, they're going to stand up for that. And it's going to be very hard to get them to stand down because bulls are stubborn, right? And once you get the bull going, it just darts, it dashes, there's no stopping it, it's too heavy. So this is a really cool time because this time really is the perfect energy to have, you know, this, remember I talked to you guys a lot about, like, when you think of full moons, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're releasing something in the sense of like letting something go. Yes, you are letting something go. That concept is very real, but it's not always about getting rid of somebody, right? I always see this post where it says, full moon, get rid of them, blah, 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 blah. No, typically what it's saying is that let go, release. If it doesn't serve you, release. But understand the reason why it no longer serves you is because you've taken the nutrients from it already, right? When we get rid of waste, we eat, and then our body goes ahead and gets rid of it, but it doesn't get rid of the nutrients, right? It's keeping the nutrients and it's getting rid of the waste. So that's pretty much that concept. Don't separate yourself from what you've learned from that experience. Don't sit there and say, oh, well, screw that experience, screw that person, screw this situation, whatever the case may be. Don't say that. You want to thank that person, thank that position, thank that milestone, that experience in your life, so that way you understand that it is valued for you to go on. You understand what the experience meant, you get the lesson from it, and you thank it, and then you go ahead and you pull back and you let go of the things that don't serve you anymore. You let go of the waste once you take those lessons, right? All the silly things, for example, like if you work somewhere and it's not working out and then you decide, you know what, well, what was the experience I had? What were the positive things I had? I'm going to keep those. Those are going to come with me, right? I'm going to thank the universe for giving me the experience. I'm going to thank the universe for waking me up enough to experience it in the first place. And then I'm going to let go of all that extra bullshit that doesn't need to be there, right? Any of the name calling that someone called me, any of the situations where somebody could have, like, I don't know, told on me on something that was crazy, or any of those situations where I got in trouble for X, Y, and Z, any other situation where Wanda blocked me in the parking lot and I was 10 minutes late, whatever the hell the situation was, at the end of the day, you're going to let go of all that stuff because that stuff doesn't matter anymore. And now you're just going to keep the nutrients. And that's pretty much what the idea of full moon is. It's saying, allow yourself to open up to the stimulation of water, right? Release it. When you say release it, cry it out. Cry it out. There's nothing wrong with crying. It is one of the most healthy, like, functions that we could, you know, involve ourselves with. Reason being is because you are crying out anything that you don't need inside. It's coming out with electrolytes and that salt. It's cleansing, right? It's getting rid of all that stuff that you don't need, those emotions, that heaviness. Let it go. Breathe. Enjoy life. That's what it's here for, right? To enjoy it, to learn from it. So don't hold on to things that are ready to be let go. It's time to let them go. And if you don't, then you're just going to have to face an eclipse. And it's just going to get rid of it for you. And that's not fun. So don't do that to yourself. Because I've been through a few of those and they're not cool. And I'm sure that everybody knows it. But anyway, so that's pretty much what that idea is. And I'm trying to think if there's other themes that I could talk to you guys about too, as far as Pisces and Virgo. This is a good time to get into a healthier environment for yourself in general. And I know I mentioned that earlier, having that balance between mental health and physical health, but also just being quiet and being in solitude. And I say that because I actually wish I had the card with me. I could get it myself. I'm going to see if I can get it. I put my cards right next to me. But this card actually stands for Virgo in the deck. And for those of you that do tarot, you would know what I'm talking about before I even pull the card up. But this card technically stands for being a little bit like in quiet zone for a little bit and not having to jet forward right away. Just kind of being medicinal to self, right? This is a good time to go to the spa. It's a good time to kind of take a bath and to figure out, you know, what it is that you actually want in life. Let it process, let it download before you actually make any decisions. Because realistically, what we think is what we bring into our life, right? We attract the things. We're magnets. So if we think negative, we're going to keep bringing negative into our life. That's how that works. So here's the card. So for those of you, this is actually an album cover too. I believe it was for Red Hot Chili Peppers. I could be wrong. So if I'm wrong, oops. But I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I'm pretty sure it may have not been. I'm not sure. But the Hermit, I wish there was like a switch thing I could do, but I can't. The Hermit stands for Virgo in the tarot deck. And really, if you see this old man, it really talks a lot about when you think of like gray hair and you think of like that concept about like what he's even holding. Like it's a lot of his theme is wisdom, but his theme is also to kind of dissect it and to kind of sleep on it. And the reason being is because it's not good to always make a decision without kind of just observing first, right? And that's really what Virgo talks a lot about in general, is being the observer, being the person that, I mean, I can't even tell you. People could try to hide from me as much as they want. I always see what's going on in my peripherals every time. I'm like, I don't understand. I understand that Betty and Sean, whoever the hell they are flirting off in the corner while I'm over here talking to Susie, and I see it. And I'm like, ooh, because Betty cheating on her boyfriend, and I could see it, right? I know it, even though I'm talking to Susie. That's just that appearance that Virgos have. We know what's going on behind us. It's crazy. We're very observant. And it's a positive thing to be that way, because then you can kind of peep what's going on around you, so you can see your surroundings and know if you're, you have that safety. Or also it's the kind of, you see things that a lot of other people don't necessarily see. You get to understand details, right? I have the most fiery mother. She would probably get mad if I said that, because she thinks fiery is a bad thing, but she's an Aries and she's a fireball. She likes to have a lot of fun, right? But she likes to have fun like her best friend's a Gemini, my Aunt Mary, and like she always talks to me about how they were like a trip together, because of course as a Gemini she's like, oh, let's go over here, let's go do this, let's go do that. And my mom, being the Aries, is enjoying like, let's go over here, choom choom, and they're just like doing 5,000 things within a day, and it's crazy. Like Aries and Geminis get along really well. But like the thing is that when I try to have a conversation with her and I'm like, oh, okay, so the guy that I'm going to tell you about, he was wearing such and such and such and such. And I'm not going to go into detail like that just for the hell of it. It's a reason. I'm going into it because later on, whatever he's wearing applies to what I'm talking about. My mom's just constantly, every 5 seconds. So get to the point. So get to the point. So what happened? So did this happen? And I didn't even get there yet. But that's that fiery energy, right? Virgo is about details. So Virgo will go and watch a film and look at the film and see the little kids playing off in the background, or see the hidden message and the subliminals in the background or whatever. They'll be the ones to see that, because a Virgo truly knows at the end of the day, a director only has 2 hours to make to make some kind of statement. And why pay an extra $100 to go do double dutch in the background unless he's trying to create that specific scene for a reason, some kind of feeling, right? We like those details. So this is that part of that life right now where it's saying, look at the details of your emotions. Get nitty gritty. Get into the detailed sides that scare you, because ultimately those are the secrets that are on the other end, which is 12th house in Pisces. Those are the secrets that are hanging out with Pisces, that is trying to shine light and say it's okay. These are the little things about myself that I necessarily don't want to look at, but I'm pulling them out so that way I'm shining light on what I need versus focusing on how I could just escape, right? Focusing on how I could just ignore it and just go off into la la land because it's easier to deal with, right? This is that time period. So anyone that's stressing out, anyone who is going through something, please go talk to somebody. This is the perfect energy for you to kind of just let all of that go, let everything clear out. I know people might say, what do you mean by it's the perfect energy to do it? Because it's the perfect atmosphere, in the sense of you might not normally be used to speaking to anybody. You might not normally be used to speaking up or to sharing how you feel, but this is the energy that will support it. This is the energy that will make you realize that it's good to stand up for yourself right now, right? You got that Mars and Taurus, like stand up for yourself. you know, it's okay to be bold. It's okay to let loose, obviously be respectful. But if something is not right for you, it's not right for you. If someone's not right for you, they're not right for you. So don't eliminate caring about what you want to say to please somebody else. And that's ultimately what the vibe of this moon is about. Okay, guys? So that was kind of short compared to what I normally do. I've been trying to like go a little bit shorter. I don't really know how short. I'm going to check the time. I'm hoping it was like under 30 minutes. If not, that's okay. I talk a lot. I'm okay with that. I'm a Libra moon. It is what it is. But other than that, I just want to let you guys know I'm still doing readings. I'm still doing a package deal. My readings are a specific price. If you guys want to contact me to get them, then definitely we can go to that. They are an hour long, and most of them go a little bit over. I'm not like, you know, being on my clock like this or whatever, but it's at a good price. And also I do have my package deal that I do for the tarot and for a birth chart, and then also I have my numerology add-on, or you can get a numerology reading by yourself as well. So there's a couple options there. And other than that, look out for that video on catching up with the stars. I'm going to be going over the 2 crazy ass eclipses that came into my life, and just like, it was a mess. It was insane, but it was good energy. I'm where I am, and I'm very excited to enter this next part of my life. I've had a complete new beginning within the last 24 hours of something I did not expect, and like, I'm just really excited to see where it's going to take me, because every time there is some kind of death, there is a rebirth. So I'm super, super excited about that. And speaking of 12th house terms and going into that airy concept, right? Because now we're getting out of, you know, that other stage. Like, I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. I'm so excited. All right, guys. So thanks for listening, and comment below. Ask any questions that you need, and follow me on Instagram at siren.selenophile. I will, if this is, well, this is me on Facebook right now, but when I upload this to YouTube, it's going to be underneath, in the like the area where it's the description. Oh my God, what is going on today? So it'll be in there, but if you know me personally, it is at siren.selenophile, and it's all over my Facebook as well, so you can go, but you want to add that because that's going to also keep you updated. Okay? All right, guys, love you so much. Smooches. Bye.